Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Andre, part of the Plug and Play cross-border team, and I would like to welcome everyone to the Zoom live stream today for the April 29th BRICS Cross-Border Innovation Accelerator Program online workshop. Today's event is held with the Xiamen Municipal Science and Technology Bureau and is co-hosted by Plug and Play China together with the China BRICS New Era Science and Innovation Incubation Park. Today's session is also designed to give international innovators and ecosystem partners a clearer understanding of China's policy environment, market entry pathways, and the support available for technology collaboration among BRICS countries. Through three key themes today, investment, compliance, and policy support, we hope to provide a clear roadmap for entering and growing in the Chinese market. And before kicking off the event, I would like to take the time to introduce each of our three speakers today. Our first speaker will be Zhao Chen, Managing Partner of Plug and Play China, and he will share his perspectives on China's current 4+6 modern industrial system and the investment logic behind decision-making and fundraising opportunities. For those interested in understanding the current investment landscape or raising capital successfully in China, this session will be especially helpful. Our next speaker, Grace Scher, partner at ARTxDIGI, will share hands-on guidance on navigating key operational areas in China, the latest regulatory and policy updates. She will dive into topics such as cross-border payroll, tax, HR, and expat residence to help companies build a strong foundation in China. And finally, for those exploring BRICS-related opportunities, Mohsin Ali, Deputy Director of the China BRICS SIIP, will introduce Xiamen support policies and development programs. He will showcase the many core incentives to establish your business in Xiamen and their eligibility, such as receiving startup funding, support of up to 10 million RMB, a talent green card, and their unique 50% risk tolerance policy for innovation. So now moving on to the format of today's session. Firstly, each segment will run for 1 hour long. And if you have any questions, please use the Q&A function in the toolbar at the bottom of Zoom. Because of time limitations, each speaker will only be able to answer up to 3 questions. So if you are interested, please answer before the speaker is finished. If you would like to learn more after today's event, also please feel free to contact us through our official channels. And with that, let us begin today's program. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Zhao Chen, Managing Partner of Plug and Play China, who will share his views on industrial innovation from an investment perspective, as well as how investors in China approach early-stage investments in overseas startups. Mr. Zhao, the floor is now yours.
Great. Thanks, Andre. How are you, man? Can you hear me okay?
Yep, your
Can you hear
screen
me?
is shared. I can see everything and hear you
Can you
fine.
hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, Andre. Can
Can you hear
you
me?
hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Your screen is shared as well.
How
I can see everything.
about Gaoxin? If Let me know if you guys can hear me.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. How about you?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, please go ahead.
Great. Okay, should I start?
Yep, go ahead, please.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you for the kind invitation and pleasure meeting all of you. I see we have over 60 online participants joining us today. And I heard from my colleague, a lot of you are joining from Brazil and a lot of BRICS countries that are really early. I heard some of you are waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning to join the session. So I hope we can provide some insights and value for you guys. Andre and Sheen, you guys are probably going to be online most of the time. So because I'm sharing my screen, so I don't think I will be able to see any of the Q&A questions, but I want to try to make it a more of an interactive session. So either Andre or Gaoxin, can you please help me monitor the if there's like a Q&A window? If there's any questions during my presentation, please just help them ask the question directly so I can just focus on the PowerPoint without having to look at the chat windows on Zoom. Would that be okay for you guys, Andre or Xin?
Yes, we have the chat window open, so if anyone has any questions, please ask and we'll read them out loud.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So I understand. So the topic is strategic insights of fundraising for international startups in China. I think through the BRICS Accelerator the BRICS Acceleration programs, some of you are interested in not only expanding your business into China market, but also possibly to raise capital from local Chinese investors, and with the potential funding to further help you develop your business here in China. I hope I'm understanding that correctly. So I'm gonna tap a little bit into some of the main industry or technology sectors in China, which are the main directions for most, if not all, venture capital, private equity firms are investing in China nowadays. And also, I will showcase some of our portfolio companies' technologies and maybe some of their fundraising stories, challenges, and lessons learned. And also, I think an average or like a standard recommended, pitch deck outline and some of the evaluation criterias for investors in or VC firms or angel funds. They evaluate the different perspectives and hope if any questions you have along the way, please feel free to ask. I know some of you is really early. Thank you for your participation and thank you for your time in advance. First of all, I want to briefly go to the introduction of Plug and Play. The founders' introductions are in Chinese, but it's fine. I can explain to you in English that Plug and Play was originally founded back in 1998 in Silicon Valley. And roughly 10, 11 years ago, the gentleman, Dr. Chen in the middle, convinced Mr. Rahim Amidi and Saeed Amidi to form a joint venture in China, which is now the Plug and Play China legal entity and our team and our organization. So it's our 11th year in China market since we registered company, but it's our official 10-year anniversary this year since we kind of officially launched our various programs in China in October 2016. And the background of Dr. Chen, he's actually a founder of a university called SIAS International University. If some of you are interested in, education market, I also be interested in knowing some of the, business sectors or industries your company are working in, so we can better help you tailor your strategy or story for fundraising story in China. But if you're ever into the education market, the co-founder of Plug and Play China, Dr. Chen, there's a lot of resources here locally. You guys probably know this toy company called Pop Mart. I believe they also have overseas locations, offices. But Dr. Chen's university see us, it's a very entrepreneurship oriented. So starting from day one, back in the 1990s, he always encouraged his students to start something, a small business or like a startup during the school program. So the founder and CEO of PopMart, Wang Ning, is also a student of CS, international student. If you want to look it up online, it's SIAS International University. You can see a lot of news and the university is a long history. It's kind of I think the first privately owned international university in China, and now it's been growing really, really well in the past a few years. For me, I was a software engineer by training and worked both in China and also in the US and a little bit in India, throughout my early career. And I joined Plug and Play in California 13 years ago, back in 2013. So I'm mainly running our investment programs in China together with our other partners like Xiamen in Shanghai and also Peter, our CEO. So we do a lot of investments in China so far. I think we have over 170 portfolio companies. I will skip some of the plug-in background introductions, which I believe most of my colleagues has already covered already. But there's a short, very exciting video introduction for Plug and Play that I really want to play for you guys.
Innovation isn't a buzzword, it's the new bottom line. And right now, your competitors are already scaling new ideas with Plug and Play. We are not a demo day, we are not a database. We're the platform where corporates, startups, governments, and universities work side by side to test, learn, and launch at scale. What started in a small building in Palo Alto has grown into a global innovation platform. We're an end-to-end global innovation platform built on 3 key pillars. We accelerate hundreds of startups across the globe in over 60 cities. Our mission is to help startups grow and corporates to stay ahead. We've worked with over 550 leading organizations on open innovation projects, not just corporates, but also government entities and universities. We're one of the world's most active VCs with over 200 startup investments every year and over 30 unicorns. We're proud to back the boldest ideas alongside top investors.
We've had our eyes really opened by Plug and Play, open innovation as an extra channel of innovation, as well as looking internally and externally through our group. Plug and Play in the open innovation portal enables us access to startups that we wouldn't ordinarily have.
When I talk to other corporates, I recommend the international angle of the startup portfolio of Plug and Play. They always have a solution that can meet a market's need.
So due to time limit, I will skip the rest of the video. But I want to emphasize, by the end of last year, Plug and Play has already opened, I think, very close to 70 locations worldwide. I think I heard last month, we opened New York office in Manhattan, and a few new locations in Europe and in China. In addition to Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Wuhan, Nantong, Changzhou, and Hefei, at the end of last year, we also launched the city of Shenyang, which is home to all of BMW China's local factories in China. So it's a mobility-themed office in Shenyang, and we're currently working with the BMW China and the Brilliance Auto, the Shenyang Auto, to help them, transform their technology in car manufacturing and in the smart cockpit, battery charging, and a lot of other fields in the general mobility space. So as you can see, like on the top right corner, the Chinese, this like a sentence. The quote came out of the 2026 Chinese government report, which says the goal of 2026 is to keep opening up the market to global, technology, global companies, global businesses, but at the same time to improve the deeper integration between technological innovation and industrial innovation. By the wording, it sounds pretty complex, but I think my understanding, my interpretation of this quote is, before everybody's just talking about innovation, right? Entrepreneurship, a startup creating a technology, but really how the technology can be commercialized and to be proven to be able to add value to the market is how it can really be applied to real industries, right? So there's has been some decoupling between, technology, the product, and the market. That's why the very important step for most of the early stage companies is to find a PMF, right, which stands for product market fit, right? So I think starting from the government and then the VC funds and also the industry realized, it should really be much more integrated between the startup technology, the founders. Was that? Oh, I'll keep going. And the various industries. It could be mobility, car manufacturing, it could be, supply chain, logistics, fintech, and short tech, right? So the current movement or slash trend in China is to encourage better integration between tech and real industry. So that's what Plug and Play has been doing along the years, at least in the past, 20 years. Plug and Play works hard in not only discovering and investing in early stage tech companies, but also helping traditional large conglomerates to be more innovative, to be more digitally transformed through matchmaking the various business units of this traditional large corporations with startups, right? So that being said, I think one way for all of you who are interested in entering China market, I think the first step I strongly recommend you do is to find who could be the best corporate partner or like a corporate client for you. Let's say I'm working on like this car part or working on this battery technology or working on this AI software just as a service product, right? Or it's like an agriculture technology. So first, I think you should now with the help of AI, you can very quickly in search for, hey, like I'm working in the agriculture space or I'm working on this, drone, low altitude, flying space, who could be my potential, clients, customers, or business partners in China? I think that's the very first step to conduct like very in-depth market research. And the reason is not only for finding the first batch of customers or clients, but because also as far as I know, a lot of this large corporations are also setting up their own CVC funds. Take the BMW China customer as an example. At the end of last year, BMW China together with Shenyang Auto launched a 800 million RMB fund to invest in the new material, new battery, even including humanoid embodied AI technologies, right? So the CVCs could be also a good angle for each of you to look at when you're trying to raise capital in China. But keep that in mind. The key point I want to mention is in China in general, in the market and in industry, the trend is also the government is encouraging better and deeper integration between tech, startup, and the industry innovation, right? So that's what you should pay attention to find better access or deeper or more direct link directly to the industrial organizations. So I already covered this. We Plug and Play has some on the ground, we have a few accelerator offices, locations, and also we've been investing very actively in China. So going into the meat and butter of the content today, I strongly encourage because now with AI and the internet, most of this information is publicly available, on the tip of your finger. So I was, again, very strongly recommend each of you to have a full read of the 15th five-year plan of China as a country. All right. Um, so this five-year plan is planned since many years ago, and now it's already the 15th five-year plan, which kind of draft a or craft a business, but also government strategy for the next 5-year development, both in terms of the economy, the industry, technology, R&D, and everything. Yeah. So our team helped me summarize some of the core policy tones or trends, and also some of the main themes of the 15th five-year plan. Um, I won't go read each lines. I'll leave it sometimes for you to read it, or we can share the presentation. But one thing I want to bring up to your attention is the core targets. The total national R&D spending is projected to grow by more than 70% annually, right? And if you look on the right-hand side, um, so the overall, the entire society's R&D, especially in the innovation-driven industries, has already reached 9.1% in 2025 out of the GDP, right? So, but I think overall it's just for the innovation driven. But overall, I think as a country, the overall GDP percentage wise invested into R&D, I think it's roughly 2.7%. But as the five-year plan projects, each year it will grow by more than 7% annually, which means a lot of capital, a lot of funding will be poured into various industries and verticals, which after careful analysis will be the main technological advancement and focus for China's market. So we compared the government reports in the past 4 years. I think you can just focus on 2025, and the next slide will be the full 2026. But I want you to look at 2025 first, right? You can see the last line, the last bullet point was roll out large-scale demonstration initiatives for new technologies, new products, and new application scenarios, right? And you can look at the technology area as emerging industries such as commercial space to the low altitude economy and deep sea technology, right? That's um, you know uh, a few emerging technology areas in addition to advanced manufacturing, like commercialized space technology and new energy storage, semiconductor, right? This is some of the technology focus from 2025 as a whole year. But if you look at 2026, it aligns very tightly with the next 15th five-year plan, which includes aerospace, biotech, semiconductors, next generation energy, including hydrogen, fusion energy, right? Quantum, biomanufacturing, embodied AI, which could also be interpreted as physical AI, and brain computer interface, BCIs, and 6G, next generation communication, right? So the reason why I want to focus on this technology sectors is by fitting this technology directions into the next five-year plan means most, if not all, the venture capital, the private equity, and also the government funding will be poured into all these areas. So I'm not sure. I would actually really like to get a survey or get some questions. If Andre or Xin can read out for me, please go ahead and type. If your technology or your company or startup falls into any of these areas, that's already been mentioned in the 2026 government report. Okay, go ahead and type. And if it fits, let me know. Like what, maybe we can give it a couple minutes for each of you to anyone who wants to share. If it fits in quantum, what type of quantum technology you're developing, and if anything in the chat window. Andre, please feel free to interrupt me. Okay, and I'm gonna take a deeper dive into these tech areas so you can understand, at least in China market, what are the investor are looking at based on the government 5-year plan and also the overall industry and technological development in the past few years. So the chart, because it's a quite complicated chart, but I will read it for you guys. So the top layer, the blue color, it's a block that contains fusion energy, hydrogen, bio manufacturing, 6G, embodied AI, quantum, and brain computer interface, right? These are the future or emerging industry that I think the majority of VC, or especially early stage VC funds and angel funds, have been looking at in the past 2 to 3 years, right? It's kind of emerging, and a lot of new companies, new technologies are coming out of the research labs or coming out of companies like ByteDance, from Xiamen, or Tencent and Alibaba, right? So even though it's not new, but still, think of like if you were to look like into from a startup life cycles perspective, this is still like in the pre-seed, seed, angel stage, right? So still a lot of funding are investing, early stage, funding are being poured into these sectors. And the green in the middle represents the low altitude economy, the aerospace, new material, and new energy, right? So think of a lot of the companies are already in growth stage, meaning they're probably mostly already past Series A. They're in the Series B and C and D, even pre-IPO. Last year, we already are seeing some IPO cases in the commercialized aerospace technology, and also new energy, and new material. So think of this green chunk as the growth stage technology, meaning either if your company is entering into China market, if you're raising capital, right, unless you have really, really unique and advanced technology in the green section, unless you have that, most of the capital that are designed or are reserved for these areas have already been deployed, right? Meaning there's a like lower chance for you to get funding, because most of the high tech, the cutting edge technology in the green area, the green section, has been invested at least 5, 6, 7, even 8 years ago in China, right? And and they already have enough market share to prevent competitors, especially international competitors, to enter into the same market section in China, unless, as I said, unless you have really, really unique technology. And the last but not least is the bottom chunk. It's more of the traditional business, right? Like the supply chain, the chemical, the chemistry, the mining, the construction, uh, the the ship building. So all these are the fundamental, foundation of China, of the business market, which are mainly controlled by either state-owned or central government-owned entities. So they're all very mature businesses. So again, unless you have like really, really unique differentiation into in these industries, or I mean, if your technology or product can become, I would say, vendors, right? Or disruptors maybe that can really help transform the traditional industries or traditional practices into more like more intelligent, more better AI. Maybe they would consider either acquiring or even purchasing or or even investing into the newcomers into the market. I'm hope I could explain the slides clearly, right? So if again, so the early stage tech funds are at least in the past 2, 3 years and the foreseeable next 3, 4 years, a lot of the capital will be deployed into the top blue section, right? Which covers this. Covers, let me see, covers this, right? Quantum, biomanufacturing, hydrogen energy, and nuclear fusion, BCI, right? So because due to time limit, I for each of this the green pillar, the green sections, we also have detailed explanation introduction, but I don't think we'll have time to dive into each of this. But it's very easy to read and understand. We can share the material which each of you, if anyone is interested, right? The new energy, the new material, aerospace, the low altitude, including like electric vehicle takeoff machines, right? The new energy, the solar, the energy storage, right? The new material, especially new material with application in semiconductor industry. It's very, very important for China. Aerospace, in China, we already have our own design and manufactured C919 model in Shanghai. And also a lot of the commercial satellites have been launched throughout the year. And the low altitude economy, the eVTOL aircraft, industrial consumer drones, right? So all this, again, all this for industry areas, a lot of capital, a lot of investment has been deployed into this industry in the past at least 5 or even 8, 9 years, right? So if unless you are coming up with a very, very new approach or new technology, otherwise it will be very challenging to raise capital, right? So the core future industry growth tracks, we can spend a little bit more time. I think we still have 40 minutes. So we just went over the general, so we can dive into each of this vertical or this technology sectors. So quantum, I think worldwide, I think in the US, in the UK, there's a lot of technological advancement. I think especially in the US, Harvard and Caltech has the strongest teams in the quantum technology, especially in recent years. And I think in the past 2 years, the more mature and trending technology directions is the neutral atom, methodology that ideally could create a quantum computer to a commercial grade faster and easier. But anyways, in China, there's a lot of research labs, research institutions that are not only doing research, but also trying to transfer the quantum technology into more commercialized solutions and businesses. So quantum is definitely a very huge, market and opportunity here in China. So if I'm not sure if any of you are working in this field, but it's very research oriented or research intensive area. Biomanufacturing, at the bottom, synthetic bio-based materials, biopharmaceuticals, and core microbial strains, right? So all these areas. So I think for some of you, maybe this could also relate to chemistry, manufacturing, and also agriculture tech in food and beverage, right? Take one of our China Fund LP, this Korean conglomerate CJ Group as an example. This is the exact area. CJ as a Fortune 500 globally are looking at, not only in Korea but also in China. And we work with a lot of top universities. Like in China, there's like a Jiangnan Daxue, Jiangnan University. In Beijing is the Beijing Gongshang University. There are top universities and researchers and professors that are doing research. And now these days, I'm not sure if how many of you know the term venture studio, venture lab. So a lot of the investment firms are actually going beyond like the pre-seed, seed stage. Like a lot of them actually go directly to the professors and try to convince the research lab, to form a team to commercialize or to transfer the technology. So, biomanufacturing is definitely a very specific area that relies heavily on research on science. Okay. Hydrogen energy and fusion energy, right? I think one of the best soil or the cities for this new energy, especially fusion energy, is the city of Hefei. Hefei had already public traded company like Guodun Quantum. Guodun stands for it's using quantum technology for internet security, for information security, and also there are a whole bunch of research labs, including the Chinese Academy of Science, are kind of incubating a lot of new technologies and startup teams. And hydrogen energy has also been a hot, very, very hot topic in China for years, And I think many years ago, there's a big, trend in, designing or manufacturing vehicles, cars, powered by hydrogen. But now the mainstream is still, battery electric, right? But for heavy load trucks and for special purpose, vehicles, especially in the logistics space, I think still there are startups working in, first generating, producing hydrogen, and also a lot of them are using more sustainable way, to generate hydrogen, but also the compression and also the transportation of hydrogen is definitely still a challenge, but at the same time, I think business opportunities, or also, there's a lot of space or room for technological improvements. So if you have technology in this space, Chinese VCs are very actively looking into this space. 6G, like when the transition between 4G to 5G in China happened, I forgot when, probably 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah, roughly 10, 12 years ago. There's a huge, wave of tech transition, right? Because, for example, the nature of 5G, for it to be able to support faster speed and also much larger bandwidth, right, rate to be able to um, uh, transfer larger amount of data, such as video, right, live streaming information and data. So the beauty of 5G is it has a lot shorter signal, like the waves is shorter, which translates into the requirement of having to install more satellites, not more satellite, like the towers, right? The more like 5G cell towers, right? And that creates a huge market demand for more routers, more IT infrastructure investments, right? I think taking that as a reference, I think the transition between 5G and then to 6G will also create a lot of opportunities into the telecommunication and information technology infrastructure investments, right? So the network architecture and the terminal devices, as I mentioned. And also now, I think 6G will definitely be more AI native. Um, so a lot of the computation of AI, like the AI models, will not only be taking place on your devices, like your mobile phones or tablets, but also I think on a lot of the 6G terminal devices, there will be requirements or rooms for either large language model or multimodal AIs to have local I would say like they call it edge AI or edge computing or edge inference, right? So I think together combining the next generation AI and the next generation of telecommunication, there's going to be huge market opportunity and in the 6G space. Uh, Next, bring computer interface and the most famous company, I think, Neuralink, you probably know, founded by Elon Musk. But in China, there are plenty. Yeah, there are plenty. A lot of them come out of the hospitals or university affiliated hospital labs, right? Either it could be invasive for, trauma or like, uh, for patients to recover certain speaking functionalities or mobility like movement, but also non-invasive BCI applications, for controlling car windows, for detecting or improving sleep conditions or monitor health conditions, can be very, very helpful. So I think we've been seeing actually, frankly speaking, like BCI, the brain computer interfaces was once a very hot investment topic when we first started our investment activities in China roughly 10 years ago, right? 10, 11 years ago. But it stopped. It stopped for quite a few years because a lot of people don't see a market commercialization, cases and applications in the market, right? For invasive, we don't like because the FDA and also the hospital has to go through quite strict qualification process and evaluation process for it to really be applicable for real patients. Meaning like you have to embed like the BCI system or the chips into a brain, right? So that gave a pause, and also for the non-invasive applications, a lot of them for entertainment, like creating a wristband or like a neck or like a forehead sticker, which can help you control like a toy, a car, or control or share the signal of your sleeping status. But I think in the past couple of years, I think there are more like real world, real industry applications, POCs coming out, and also now with the support of the government of the 5-year plan, I think more and more capital will also be deployed into this area. Plus, I think that technology also has improved, has various breakthroughs in this technology sector. So brain computer interface is definitely a hot area in China. Last not least is physical AI, embodied AI. You guys probably already know companies like Unitree, right? Like humanoid, the components, the sensors, but also the brains, the software, right? The embodied AI, the brain algorithm part. So you can quickly ask AI, like how many humanoid startups raised more than 1 billion RMB in the past 6 months or in the past 12 months, and how many embodied AI, the brain, like the software companies raised more than 1 billion, 2 billion RMB in the past 6 months. You will see plenty. You'll see plenty. So, right, because the humanoid and the embodied physical AI space has been a hot, very, very hot area since 4 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, yeah, between 3 and 4 years ago, right? So now it's already at, just imagine, um, most of the physical AI, including just companies, just manufacture the hardware, and the teams that are training their vision language model or vision language action model um, to control the hardware, right? So this the startups in this category, in these verticals, are already past the seed, angel, and pre-series A stage. Mm. They are already, because it's so fast. This sector developed so fast in the past 3, 4 years. So a lot of the players in the market have already reached Series B or C, and we've already seen one or two companies that went public in China uh, in the past couple of years, and we'll be seeing more. We'll be seeing more in the coming year. So just be careful if you want to come in the China market and compete in the humanoid, physical AI, embodied AI space. There's a very fierce competition already. I think for companies like Unitree, or we also have a portfolio of companies I want to show you in a minute. Like companies that create or design and manufactures just the physical robot. There are over 150, over 150. But interestingly enough, we did a quick comparison for US with US. I think there are, I think less, actually like a handful, like around five, six that have raised a significant amount, like definitely, the Optimus from Tesla, Figure, Boston Dynamics, which is I think now a Korean company, owned by a Korean company, Hyundai. And I think there's another additional two or three that came out of UC Berkeley and a few other university labs. But I think that the differentiation, the difference between China and the US is, China's very, very strong in the supply chain and manufacturing, versus in the US still like the software part, right? The algorithms, the control, like the VLA, the BLM area. It's relatively stronger, but China researchers and the scientists and entrepreneurs are playing catch up very, very quickly. Also with a lot of open source, uh, you projects that are also already publicly available. I will show you quickly our portfolio company called P&D Bot. Time limits. I won't play the full video, but just to give you a sense of the maturity of not only the design and the manufacturing of the physical robots, the various parts, but also the integration of the various parts into the full body, and also the basic force control of humanoids robots. And in China, it's very competitive landscape, but there's still room for different core parts. Like I think if there are new material or or new design for the joints, for the small motors, or even for the hands or for sensors, right? If there's new technology, breakthrough, I think there's still opportunity. But if you're just talking about like manufacturing, designing a humanoid body, it's a very mature slash competitive market here, right? And the next portion, I want to share with you some stats. We got some very fresh data for all of you to summarize what the private the primary it was what do you call it? Primary market. Basically, it's the VC private equity markets. The performance, especially in the early stage tech space in China in Q1, which just ended right less than a month ago. But before tapping into the China part, I recommend each of you to read this Gartner report that I do each year for the past few years. So each year at the end of I think at the end of 2025, Gartner will announce the top 10 strategic technology trends for 2026. Um,
Sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
You have 15 minutes remaining.
15, right? Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for reminding me. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Um, so by looking at, I'll dive into the 10 strategic technology trends directly. So the reason why I recommend that each of you read Understanding the Full Report is I've been comparing the reality with the prediction, right? So when I read by the end of last year, I was reading the full, venture capital industry statistics and the report, and I compare that with Gartner's tech trends projection for the year of 2025. And in China, it aligns very, very perfectly, in most of the areas, which means if you look at this prediction for the year of 2026, the AI native development platforms, the AI supercomputing platforms, including like new GPUs, NPUs, TPUs, and confidential computing, multi-agent systems, domain-specific language models, physical AI, right? Especially this first six, directions or technology trends. We can already see uh, a lot of signs of, venture capital, pouring investment into these six areas. And each year, because globally, the vanguard portion, right, the cybersecurity, the AI security, all this security related technology, I think has different have a different perspective, I think, in China and the rest of the world. It's a very different, business and also a security landscape in China. So I would say we can temporarily, park that for now, but really look at the first six main tech trends. And I believe at the end of this year, if we were to read the full, report of what happened in 2026, and at least I think at least 70 to 80% of the early stage tech funds will be, deployed into most of this first six categories. So I just want to you can download it for free from Gartner. You can read it in full. Even if this think tank, like this report covers the whole world, but I think it really has a good representation of the technology trends in China as well, right? Due to time limit, I'll go directly into some examples and in the China data part. So this first this is a very interesting startup award or slash startup uh, like top 50 list if you will. And this I want to showcase some of startups that are founded by Chinese founders in China. Even though when some of them are, started from China and eventually they move to other countries and expand their business to other locations. But you can see AI, it's still a top, the hottest category slash industry everywhere, and especially in China, right? So this rank is where startup spend on AI. Also means some of the most profitable, right? Or some of the startups with the fastest growth rate in terms of ARR, the annual recurring revenue. And Manus, you guys, most of you probably know, it's just a multi-agent, AI company. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Pete from Manus AI. For the past year, we've been quietly building what we believe is the next evolution in AI. And today, we're launching an early preview of Manus, the first general AI agent. This isn't just another chatbot or workflow. It's a truly autonomous agent that bridges the gap between conception and execution. While other AI stops at generating ideas, Manus delivers results. We see it as the next paradigm of human-machine collaboration, and potentially a glimpse into AGI. Now let me show you Manus in action across 3 completely different tasks. Let's start with an easy one. In this example, we'll ask Manus to help screen resumes. I've just sent Manus a zip file containing 10 resume documents. Since each Manus session has its own computer, it can work like a human. First unzipping the file, then browsing through each resume page by page, and recording important information to documents. Manus works asynchronously in the cloud, which means you can close your laptop anytime, and Manus will notify you when everything is complete. Of course, you can also give Manus new instructions at any time. Here I've sent Manus 5 more resumes. After carefully reading all 15 resumes, Manus provides its ranking suggestions, along with candidate profiles and evaluation criteria as supporting materials.
Yeah, I'll pause for now. So Manus, I think this is a demo from at least 2 years ago. And Manus was previously acquired by Meta for $2 billion. And the news just broke out yesterday that there's going to be some change, right, in that. But it's still a very great company, very talented team. And, using a lot of the foundation AI models. Now there are hundreds of similar technology startup in China market. And also especially with vibe coding capabilities these days, it's so easy to craft a tool like this. But still, both domestic market and especially international markets who are previously paying for software as a service, platforms as a service, now result as a service, still has huge market demand and opportunity. And the next one I want to show you is the number 38 ranked Cloud. This is also a new trend in China. If maybe not only if you have an idea, you can not only bring your idea to China market or bring your business and product to China market, but then in the meantime, I believe the beauty of having the BRICS Accelerator is to embrace the existing domestic technology of China, and maybe through forming a joint venture or having some certain like commercial agreements, you can bring the Chinese technology back to your local market. Take a look at this Cloud AI Note Keeper device, which had, I think, generated over $100 million revenue last year alone. So take a look.
Introducing Plod Note Pro, the world's most advanced AI note taker. With smart dual mode recording and multimodal input, it captures what you hear, say, see, and even think in every conversation, all in one seamless flow. Press to highlight what sparks ideas, decisions, and meaningful conversations. With 16 feet studio-grade audio pickup, every detail is crystal clear. Stay organized with 50 hours of continuous recording. Keep your team focused and your insights structured. The Instant View display shows real-time recording status, battery level, and file progress, giving you peace of mind. Choose from over 2,000 professional templates. Multi-dimensional summaries help you extract what matters and boost productivity. Ask Plod and turn conversations into insights instantly.
All right, right. So because the supply chain and the hardware design and manufacturing capabilities is very, very strong, especially in the Greater Bay Area, the Shenzhen, Guangzhou area. So if you ever have an idea and you can really find a local partner, in China, that can help, design a good product, and maybe bring them back, to your local country and your local market. And the last startup case I want to show you is one of is a startup that sits right next to our Beijing office. It's called the company is called Vast AI. They use their model to generate through text or 2D image as a prompt. It can generate very, very, very high precision 3D models using their triple AI model. Take a look, and if you're working also on multi-model AI models, you can either there's a huge market here in China, but also if you can bring a new unique angle or application for the technology, I think there could be a lot of opportunities for partnership. I'll skip the rest. So you can probably know, like, I want to give you a direct or like a real feel of what's going on in the tech in the startup space, and what are the startups doing in China, what are the investors investing. I can share this full report for 2026 Q1 with you, even though the full report is in Chinese, but it's now with AI, it's so easy to, have a language that fits your need. I want to the summary, the highlight. I think I still have 5 to 10 minutes. So the highlight of Q1, as you can see, the last 5 quarters from the left bottom chart, you can see, right? So in last quarter in 2020 Q1, there's a record-breaking number of financial like startup financing deals, a little bit over 2,800, right? 2,865 to be exact, meaning last quarter, like over 2,800 startups were able to raise a round of financing, which represents over 50% year-over-year increase comparing to the same time last year. And the total funding reached 256 billion, and also it's a close to 50% year-over-year increase. But I want to give you a figure, like a reference. So I would say roughly what the amount of RMB deployed in tech in China altogether, it's still very, very small comparing to what's going on in the US and in Silicon Valley, right? So relatively, it's still not as strong as the US, but it's already been showing very, very fast recovery, especially comparing to a year ago, right? And another highlight I want to bring to your attention is look at the second bullet point. So the early stage investment accounted for close to 3/4 of all transactions, but only contributed a quarter of the total capital deployed, right? It's the same as in what's going on in the US. So it's what they call it, 马太效应. Like basically the rich get richer, right? So the top, just like OpenAI, they raise capital in the billions, in the tens and hundreds of billions of dollars, amount. So all the lead, AI, the humanoid, the technologies in the covered by the 5-year plan, the leading players are raising more and more capital, whereas the smaller startups are raising on average lower or smaller investments, comparing to previous years. But it's still, I mean, a good sign. The overall number and amount has increased, year over year by roughly 50%. Um, um, but even though a lot of capital are deployed into the leading head players, but still, there's three-quarters of all the transactions took place in the early stage, right? And um, the next I want to emphasize and really bring into your attention is nowadays, with most of the US dollar funds, uh, you know, left China market, the majority of the investors in China are either government government funding, or market-oriented funds, also with LPs, with government or state-owned company backgrounds, right? So if you really were to raise capital, raise money in China, you need to take that into consideration, which means if your local team is been given enough authorization to make local decisions, if your legal structure allows the RMB funds to make quick decisions, to be able to receive the government funding, and also most importantly, the exit strategy for both of your company and the investors, most of which being government related or government official affiliated funds and organizations. Okay, so this is the top 20 most active investors, and 11 of which are state-backed institutions. Yeah, which kind of stayed the same compared to last year altogether. Yeah. And last, I think it's going to be the last or second to last slide. 20% of Q1, all the, hard tech investment went into smart advanced manufacturing, 15% went into healthcare, 11% is in AI, but the rest, 8% in robotics, 5% enterprise service, and 5% traditional manufacturing, 3% car and transportation, 3% cutting edge or advanced tech, and 10% the rest, right? So, advanced manufacturing is still a big topic in China. But now advanced technology has to embrace AI, embodied AI, physical AI, humanoid. So it's kind of all intertwined with AI and robotics anyways. Yep. And in terms of the geopolitical locations, in Q1, Guangdong as province, because Guangdong also includes Shenzhen, right, which is a very, very fast-growing city. And Jiangsu is very, Jiangsu, Suzhou, Nanjing, and also,
Sorry to interrupt again, Mr. Zhao. The time is up.
yeah,
If you would like, we have a few questions if you'd like to answer them.
yeah, I'll wrap up now. Just this is the last slide.
Okay, no worries.
So these are by geopolitical segmentations. You can look at the different cities which where most of the capital is deployed. So the next few slides I will skip. It's about the template, like the product, the business template I can share with you, and for example, the areas the VC firms normally evaluate. I actually don't need to spend any time on this. It's just wording. You can have full understanding of each of this evaluation criteria means just by reading the slides alone. So I will wrap up my presentation and leave it for any questions you might have. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for the comprehensive overview of the investment landscape. We have a couple questions. Unfortunately, we only have time for two questions right now. So the first one from Pierre is when evaluating companies, how much weight is placed on the corporate pilot fit versus the broader China BRICS strategic relevance?
I didn't fully understand. Can you repeat that question slowly or help me
Yeah.
translate?
How much weight is placed on the corporate pilot fit versus
Uh-huh.
broader China BRICS strategic relevance?
Oh, okay. Um, Great question. I think I would say if your company or your products is more like a market oriented, not like a policy oriented business or product type, I would say I would you know definitely try to, as I suggested at the beginning, conduct more market research and try to find either a local corporate client lead or sales leads or either or a corporate partnership opportunity to given if you already have a mature product that you want to kind of sell, right, or export to China market, to try to find a local partner or a local customer first. uh, to me, I think that's more important or is higher priority. And because I know like the BRICS countries in China, there's a lot of political or policy driven incentives, right? To bring certain product types or certain technology into China. I'm not quite familiar with that. So I'm more like a market-oriented person or your funding or investment-oriented business. I think still having a fast access to China market to be able to generate some revenue to prove to the investors and prove to the market and the customers is more important. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. And then the second question would be from Alexei, and he would like to know if Plug and Play China has any experience organizing meetings or facilitating collaborations between startups and the Beijing or Chinese government, and has there been any successful collaboration between startups and universities?
Got it. This is, I think, two questions. And for facilitating meetings between international startups with Chinese governments, I think that's what Plug and Play has been doing in the past 10 years, 9, 10 years. Especially, I think this year, and Andre and Shane and Rebecca and Yuan Yuan's team led by Don and our international and cross-border team has been doing a great job in inviting and facilitating multiple meetings and visits like this, right? I think you guys just wrapped up a startup China visit, between various cities in China and the government. I think as a team, we're quite familiar and experienced in that. And one area I think we should definitely improve together is really to, through the government, to better link to the businesses, right? Because government, they can provide a lot of great policies, the grants, incentives to attract talents. But I think the real beauty of the government, Chinese government, is the direct connections with the local economy, the local industries, right? I remember we participated in a few meetings in different cities, and the different agencies, government agencies, offices can help us tap into a lot of the local, top corporations, the top businesses, very, very quickly. So that generates a lot of sales leads for these international startups. So I think together we should work with you and our team to not only get access to the government incentives and grants, but also through them to get to the real business, the real sales opportunities. And for collaboration between startups and universities, yes, yes. Both, I think we've been running a university program for many years. Actually, starting from day one after I joined in 2013, we've been putting a lot of, we always have a dedicated team to connect with not only domestic Chinese universities like Tsinghua, like Peking University, but also, Stanford, UC Berkeley, Harvard, MIT, University of Waterloo, Cambridge, you name it. So our goal is really to provide training early on to students, to entrepreneurship associations, to student startup competitions, right? To provide some of our know-hows and capabilities to help the student teams to kind of foster their ideas and startups. Eventually, some of them, a small portion of them, come out and really found their own company. But also, some of our corporations our partnership with large corporates also will involve university research labs and then professors. So universities has always been a very, very instrumental, ecosystem, player in our on our platform. I know I'm running. Yeah, I think I'm on the dot, right? I was told I have until a 3:15, so I think we're right on time.
Yes. Yeah. And I guess with that, yeah, well, thank you so much um, for the presentation. And so I hope everyone has like a clear understanding of China's 4+6 industrial system and what it takes for startups to successfully raise capital in China. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
thank
if you
you.
have questions,
Thank you, Zhao.
please feel free to reach out to Andre and Shane. We can set up one-on-one discussions for contents that I didn't cover or I didn't explain clearly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you again. And I would just quickly like to remind everyone to kindly refrain from putting any company intros or other unrelated stuff to the questions in the Q&A. The Q&A is mainly for questions, so please refrain from any non-questions. And also for the next segment, we will take questions after. So please answer any questions after the segment, and we'll try our best if we have the time to get to them. It will likely be first come, first serve after the presentation ends. All right, so now moving on. Um, with the investment perspective in mind, let us turn to our execution. So please join me in welcoming Miss Grace Shi, partner at ARTxDIGI. She will walk us through China's latest market access policies, along with key topics such as finance, taxation, and compliance. So welcome, Grace.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Let me share my screen. Hello, everyone. So I'm Grace. It's really a big honor here to welcome around 100 enterprise representative here today. So actually, it's really very, very excited. You can see me already. I'm standing. I feel so excited.
Is your camera open? I don't know if we can see you right now.
You cannot see me?
Yes. Oh, perfect. We can see you now.
Okay.
All good.
Okay, good. So before we start the presentation, actually, I just want to also give a self-introduction about myself. I'm Grace Shi. I'm the partner at ARTxDIGI. And beside the corporate level, I'm also a CPA, Chinese CPA, and also tax advisor. So I'm helping actually foreign companies enter China since 2000 already. So this year is already my 26 years for my career. So during these 26 years, so we're helping more than, I think, maybe 10,000 foreign companies enter China. Actually, we know their pains, their pain points. So during the last 25 years, actually China changed, the world changed, the economic changed. But right now, we have a lot of, new policies and also new incentives. I just want to have this 1 hour to walk through together with you about the China market entry now and also the compliance. Just now, actually, Dr. Zhao just shared about the market, the China strategy, and also for the money. This is a more sexy part, but my part is a little bit boring. We need to talk a lot about the compliance. But compliance is something you must to have before you come to China. You need to have this kind of ideas. Not only we need to just only sell materials, sell products, sell service to China, but you also need to comply with the Chinese laws and the regulations. So this is something is very crucial here. So let's start with the PPT. Yeah. So from the figure, oops. So let's look at some figures, and we call it also hard evidence, right? So why we are having this conversation now? So I think everybody have some strategies to China, right? So according to the latest data from the Ministry of the Commerce as of January 2026, the Chinese market remains very strong. So you can see from the figure wise for 2025, there are more than 70K foreign companies entering China. So we have a year-on-year 19% increase. This is a huge increase, right? So, and it also shows that you have the right strategy to China because the market is here and the people are here and supply chain is here. So it should be a very good timing for you to consider China. And also the other figures also very huge, right? So for now, probably you have a lot of you will have hear a lot of noise about the global decoupling, right? But the data shows for the FDI to China is really a huge number here. So, and you can also see how the money flows. So we all not only have the traditional manufacturing here, our money also flows to the high-tech sector a lot. And from the right side, you can also see for the e-commerce services, we have increased by 75%. It's really a high increase. This is also not only a figure, it's also a huge signal actually for the IT and the SaaS companies in our audience today. The second one is for the healthcare entrepreneurs. For the 42% increase also confirms that actually China is also moving from the basic manufacturing to the high-end, also life-saving technology a lot. And the last one is just for the 23% for the aerospace equipment. This also reflects the opening for the high-end industry chance. So from here, from the data, it also shows that actually for what we understand from here, the market access is easy. Let's think about 20 years ago, actually, when we help all the foreign companies set up their company here in China. Wow, there is a lot of documentations, there's a lot of approvals. But right now, in practice, it's really much more easier than before. And also from the Chinese market government, we also have the opening up accelerations. We really warmly welcome all the foreign companies to come to China to operate operate here. And from the next slide, you can see actually there's also a signal that from 2024, the negative list also decreased from 31 to 29. I'm not sure whether everybody knows what is called negative list. It means if you're in some special industry, there's a not allowed for the foreign company operate in China. For example, previously, for the hospital, foreign company had not have the 100% owned hospital, but right now this has been canceled. This is somehow we call it a negative list. So previously we need to check for there's a really long list. When the foreign company come here, we also need to check for them whether they are on the negative list. If it is, they cannot operate here. So, but you can see from here, the figure reduced from 31 to 29 items, and also from November 1st, 2024, for the manufacturing sector has been 100% opened. So there is a zero restriction on foreign invest companies to access to China. So it means you can operate samely with the local Chinese company here as the in the manufacturing industry. So this is also a good signal for the foreign companies, and it means you can also operate more locally compared with previous years. And in the right side, we also summarize some key informations about the 2025 action plans for Chinese government to stabilizing the FDI. So as I mentioned, actually Chinese government are more friendly and also more welcome for the service sectors. So we have the pilot expansion programs for telecom, healthcare, and education. And meanwhile, we also have a lot of incentives and supporting fund for the reinvestment and M&A project. For example, for some company, if they have already operate in China for a long time and they want to reinvest their profit here in China, and then they can get tax incentives on the reinvestment. And also, for example, if you have the headquarter establishment in China, and then you can also get a lot of tax incentives here. So this is all shows that the Chinese government not only just welcome you to stay here for one company, but they really want you to expand your business for long-term run. And the third one is for the mobility and financing. As Mr. Zhao just mentioned, actually, we also give a lot of, from the government-wise, also from a lot of institutions-wise, we give a lot of, financing to support the foreign companies here who is in the really encouraging business. Yeah, for example, they are really in the high tech. They can also help people with their well-being and so on. Also for the mobility, we also know actually China has also opened up the visa. A lot of foreigners can come here without applying the visa. They can stay here for 14 days. Actually, for 14 days, you can do a lot of things already. You can just participate a lot of exhibitions and meet your also supplier, potential clients and so on. So this is also the reason we want all the foreign enterprise or foreign entrepreneurs who can come to China, feel China, and also understand the business environment here. So this is also another good thing for all the FDI activities here. And the last point actually I want to share is we also enhance the Invest in China brand. We provide the major project support as well. So this is not only a kind of one single attractive point here. We want to have the mechanism to help the foreign company to launch in China. We just makes the more efficient for companies to set up, and we also need to ensure they can operate very well on a regular basis. So also recently, we also participate a lot of, government roundtables. They also listen to what we say. Actually, what we say is also on behalf about our client. We will say, hey, for this kind of point, for example, it's very hard for them to get the license. Can we make it easier or not? So this is something we can do as a bridge. And also, this is also show the government want to listen what the foreign companies' interest, what they want help from the government. So this is also the very important latest updates. From this kind of updates, we can see for all the FDI investment, the environment are more free. So as I mentioned, actually for the environment, we have a lot of, easier and, but we still have a lot of, challenges here. This is very normal, right? For the opportunities always match the risk. So you can see this chart is quite countenable, right? I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I want to pick up something. So although you may think, okay, as Grace mentioned, for doing business here in China, procedure-wise, seems be much more easier than we expected. But actually, meanwhile, you also need to think about another side, like what's the risk I have, right? For example, just now, I mentioned for some tax incentives for some reinvestment program. For this kind of thing, people may think, okay, maybe I can enjoy the incentive already, but how and what to do, what the documentation you need to have to support this kind of tax incentives. So this is also, I just want to, everybody can think about this so we can have the opportunities, but we also need to evaluate the risk, whether I have the fully documentation for all the activities. So you can see actually in the last line, we also give some advice to everybody here to think and also to plan before you make the market entry to China. And I may give also another example here for the labor and cross-border HR things. So just now I mentioned for the mobility ones, actually China government has already opened up. So for a lot of foreigners, they can directly come to China either for business and for work. But China also have a lot of regulations. It's very complicated for expats to get their, for example, working permits, and also they also need to check their status about, for the social securities and also their individual income tax. So this is also need to be considered when you have some expats to seek comment to China and work in China. So it's not only an easy come and easy go. So this is also need to check with the tax advisors how to make the sure and everything is in compliance with the local laws and the regulations. So I will not repeat everything here. We will share the PPT later on to you, and I hope you can list down all the point as a bullet point for you when you consider your market entry to China, to check whether everything you have already considered was the open point here you have, so that you can have a lot of, to-do list here. So as a summary, you can see here, we summarize like there are 5 categories about the market entry barriers here. We also call it the barrier wall. For number one, wall number 1 is the industry access. Before you make your decision to move on to spend any dollar or any cents for the incorporation in China, you need to definitely check whether your industry is okay, is acceptable by the Chinese government, and whether there are any pre-approvals need to be done to get the relevant licensing. For example, we have the ICP license, and we also have some special like the food license, this kind of thing. You also need to check with your lawyer and to see whether it's really in the acceptable list about the business scope. So this is the first one for industry-wise. And the second one is for the licensing. It's similar with because the licensing is also relevant to what kind of industry you have, right? Like the food and beverage, you need to have the special license. For the value-added telecom, you also have the special license. I think if you have fulfilled the requirement, you can definitely get the license, but the license also have the application duration. Sometimes you need to have 1 month, sometimes you have 3 months. It depends on what kind of license you have. This is also relevant to your business, right? For example, one of my clients will just say, hey, Grace, I must finish all the registration with 1 month because I need to issue invoice to my client. But I said, oh, okay. But if you have the special license before you can sell your food to your clients, then this is not okay. So we definitely need to understand the requirement. Also, we also need to understand the timing. This is also very important. And the other wall is we call it data and cybersecurity. This is really a huge topic. Yeah. For example, for your cross-border transfers, if it's involved a lot of personal data and so on, this need to be reviewed and also filed by the relevant authority. So because the data protection is really a important thing here, and also we have the law here. So this is something we also can also have the special trainings for you if you have a lot of data transfers for cross-border. So we can also talk more details in other section as well. And next one, the barriers. Number 4 is foreign currency and also capital controls. So this is for all the cross-border transactions. Actually, you need to have the business flows from one country to other country, and service as well. Meanwhile, you also need to have the money transfers from one country to other. So this is also create some capital controls issue, because China also have a high level controls about the capital here. And if you, for example, you need to pay some service fees, or you need to buy some goods and materials, or you need to pay some royalty fees, you also need to provide the relevant, documentations like contract and so on. And also you also need to prove the tax has been well or withheld, and then you can transfer the money out. Also have when you have dividend, you also need to ensure you have clean up all the tax, and then you can get the money repatriated from China to overseas. Yeah, this is a very typical questions we will always have when the companies operate here for a couple of years, they have dividends and they don't know how to do that. So this is we can give also the advice for the right solutions. Yeah, and the other barriers is just for the regional execution. China has a lot of different local requirements. We have different zones. We have industry zones. We have the free trade zones. We have a lot of different special cities for some different industry. So for the regulations and the government, we have the country level, but we also have the city level. So also have the zone level. This is also need to be well understand before you make the final decision to invest in where. Otherwise, if something is really misunderstanding here, and then you will create some troubles. For example, we have one client, so the local government request them to operate there at least 20 years, and then they can get some subsidies. But until the 10 years, they want to stop the operation, and the local government requests them to return all the subsidies back because they have already agreed for the 20 years plan. So although the government, the high level government did not have such kind of requirement, but this is also need to be checked before you may sign this kind of agreement. Otherwise, maybe in the later stage, you will have some dispute for that, and you cannot get the enough incentive and the subsidiaries as agreed before. So this is the 5 typical barriers for the Chinese market entry. So since we have so many barriers, right? So you may think, okay, so what shall we do? So from this slide, we summarize some compliance government architecture. So it means from the very beginning, right now, you don't have anything in China yet, right? It's a zero, it's on stage 0. So you need to consider all the compliance in different stage. So we have 6 here. From the very beginning, you need to think about the entry compliance as the market access and the structure. So for structural wise, you also need to think, for example, your tax structure, your shareholder structure, whether you need to set up directly from your country to here, or you need to find some, something in middle, because we have the tax treaties and so on. So this is the, at the very beginning, you need to consider how to make the fully compliance at a very early stage. And the second one is for the entity compliance. Okay, after all the screening, and you have already say, okay, I can already do my entity. So you also need to understand what's the procedure here. In China, we have already a big change. The speedy for registered company has been faster already. So you need to follow through all the procedures. You need to provide all the documentations like the notarized documents, and also for your for all the requirements from the local governments. After the documents finish, you can also go through all the business registration procedure. And you also need to consider your tax, right? So when you do all the business, tax is very important, very crucial. Also your customers, your social securities, also a lot of, regulatory filings, and you need to go through. This is company compliance. when you set up the company, you need to go through this kind of details so that you can ensure everything you set up is correct. I just give you a very small example. So one of my client actually they just want to make it very fast. Let us say, hey, we don't want to come to China. We just ask somebody to sign on behalf of us. Or then after a couple of years, when they want to close the company, the government figure out the signature when they do the registration is not the same as the original one. So then this create a lot of trouble before they make the deregistration. They need to verify how it's come. It's take a very long time. We help them to solve this problem. So every single point for the local compliance requirement, we need to all fulfilled. And the third one, for your daily operation compliance requirements, there is also 3 checking points. The first one is the contract and invoice management. Also, for your old commercial contract, it need to be reviewed by your lawyers or by your internal staffs to make sure all the legal requirement has been managed. And also, you also need to have the internal control and the risk control system. Otherwise, there's also a lot of fraud happens. For example, if you don't have the authorization procedures, if you don't have the 4 I's principles, then there's gonna be a lot of potential risk, because we're also helping a lot of companies to doing their internal reviews and also control internal control checks. We always find a lot of problems happens. This also not only will potentially bring a lot of loss. For example, some material, some inventory got lost or got stolen by their internal staff, or they have some fraud happens. It's very often. So this is we highly recommend all the companies need to consider to how to say, to hire some professionals to help you to set up the very healthy internal control system so that your company can operate very healthy in the long-term run. Yeah. Also for also audit is very important, not only for the internal audit, but also the third-party audit is also can help you to figure out the problems. Because sometimes, for the foreign companies, the head office is very far away. They cannot immediately see all the figures, all the problems. So sometimes if you already operate for a couple of years, there's a mistake by mistake, problem by problem. And if you don't have the regular check or regular audit, there will be a lot of troubles there. Okay, so the other thing is just for the data compliance. Yeah, this is also, you need to have the internal rules for the data classifications and the personal information protections, and also for the cross-border transfer assets and audit trails. So this is, you also need to consider what kind of data you will have, what kind of data you will transfer, and from where to where. So this is something you also need to put in very high priority for the data management. Yeah, and for transaction compliance, especially for the cross-border flows, you also need to have the TP system. We call it transfer pricing. We will also mention it later on. And you also have the cost sharing or cash pooling, this kind of things. This is all from the financial things and tax things you also need to consider. We can discuss more in details afterwards. Yeah, I think the last point is always something we mentioned to our client to say, compliance is not only the one-step thing, it's an ongoing thing. You need to monitor it continuously. It means because your business maybe grows from 2 people to 200 people, your revenue tripled and 10 times in 2 years. So your compliance requirements need also be changed, also upgrade accordingly. Just like some of clients, when they develop their business so well, they will engage us to help them to make the digitalization transformation things, such as they will have their SAP system or Oracle system to ensure they can manage, they can track all the data, all the system very well, to ensure all the transparencies and to ensure all the controls. So yeah, this is I mean, government is not government, and also for the compliance is also a long-term thing. It's not a simple and one-time thing. I hope all the entrepreneur and also enterprise owner can have this kind of mindset before and during and the whole operation. You need to have this into your mind. So just now we talk a lot about the high level architecture things, but I would like to spend the next half hour to give you some insight about how China tax compliance, HR compliance, financial compliance works here, because this is quite crucial, very, very important. And you are as the owner, maybe you don't necessarily to know all the details, but at least you need to have some overviews how it works, because it's really relevant to your operation, to your business. For example, before you make any contract, when you make the cost calculation, you need to know the tax, right? Because the tax somehow also play a very important role for the cost calculation. So this is something I hope all the entrepreneur can understand well. If not, if you say, hey, it's not my business, I'm really will only focus how to drive the business growth, then you need to engage some tax expert and HR expert to help you to analyze before you make any final decisions. Okay, so the first part is just for the tax and the compliance framework. For China, I think it's very similar with other countries. We have the two core taxes called corporate income tax and value added tax. So in China, the standard tax rate is 25%. It will be based on your company taxable income. For example, you have 100 taxable income, you need to pay 25 RMB as the corporate income tax. But we also have a lot of preferential rate. For example, for the high-tech companies, they only need to pay 15% about corporate income tax. And for sure, we also have some other layer. For example, if you are the small scaled payer, and then your tax will be even lower, maybe 5%. For example, your staff is within 100 and your revenue and also your total assets also within some benchmark, it will also enjoy the lower corporate income tax rate. And for the value added tax, we have 13%, 9%, and 6%. Yeah, so this is for Services, we have the lowest one, it's only 6%. For example, if you charge your client like 100 RMB, you also need to pay 6% about value-added tax here. The other tax is we call it withholding tax. It's also one of the corporate income tax. Why we mention here? Because this is really relevant for the foreign companies who always have this kind of cross-border transactions. There are a lot of time you need to pay the withholding tax when you want to, repatriate your dividend, or when you want to pay the royalty or license fee. This will happen. So, but China has a lot of tax treaties with a lot of countries. So if we have the treaty relief available, this can be reduced, but the typical one is 10%. It means when you want to pay out, for example, royalty like 100, the Chinese local company need to withhold 10 RMB as the withholding tax here. Yeah. And we talk a lot about the cross-border compliance, right? So this is including three parts. It's very important. The first one is just we call it transfer pricing. Transfer pricing is the core principle is arm's length principle. For example, if you have the mother company and the daughter company, or you have the sister company, you have the business transactions, it must be in the same principle with the normal transaction. It need to be same, like you sell to the third party for the goods and also services. So it cannot be, intentionally to lower the price or higher the price to make the profit shifting. So this is very, very crucial point. It's always been checked for the related party transactions. So I would like to draw your attention here when you have the intercompany transaction with the head office or Chinese entity. This need to be reviewed by your tax lawyers in your mother country and also China here, so that you can ensure the pricing is okay, is acceptable by the Chinese tax authorities. And that the other one is for the profit repatriation. We have mentioned already. You also need to have a lot of documentations for your tax filings and for your audit report. By this kind of evidence, you can successfully remit your profit out of China. Yeah, the other one I would like to say is also China have the for the cross-border things, we also have the thin capitalization. It means you also cannot have the very high interest. Yeah, for the non-financial company, the debit to equity ratio is 2.1 and 5.1 for the financial entities. So it means we, according to the tax, you cannot deduct the high interest. Yeah, the interest rate need to be lower the bank rate. So this is some, framework about the Chinese tax and the compliance requirement. And what's the typical issues we always have when we have the review the company's cross-border transactions? We always have the following three things here. I would like to draw your attention. The first one is relevant to the overseas head office. So it's very typical we always get this kind of inquiries from the client to say, hey, Grace, I'm challenged by the local tax bureaus. They mention I have the permanent establishment in China. They ask me to pay tax. I guess most of you don't know what is the PE card here. Is somehow happen, for example, one foreign company, they don't have the entity here, but they will second somebody to work on project in China. So for some, projects quite short, but for some, the other one is quite high, quite long. So in China, if you really have the long-term project, this will trigger the PE recognition. It means even you don't have any how to say companies here, but you have the business here. The Chinese government tax bureaus will say, okay, they deem you have the entity here, so you need to pay the relevant tax. So, but some people will ask, okay, so how they will know how much money we make? Because we don't have all the bookkeepings, we will not share all the costs here, but they will using the method about the cost plus. They will accumulate what you have to cost here. If you cannot provide the supporting documents, they can also ask you to estimate, and you also need to prove the estimation is correct, and then they can just charge the relevant tax on your permanent establishment entity here. So that's why if you really already have some business here, this risk you need to consider. So that's why we also advise people to evaluate when you should set up your company here. If you don't set up on time, you also potentially pay high tax here. The other thing is just for the tax treaties. For example, for China, we have tax treaties with a lot of countries. It means we will not, for the tax treaties means we will not charge one thing twice on the tax burden. So, for example, if you have the tax treaties, and then you can decrease your tax burdens for the relevant transaction. There's also sometimes people cannot understand and also don't know this kind of treaties policies, and then they pay the tax wrongly. This is also can create some tax troubles here. Yeah, and the third one is the cost sharing and the intangible assets. Yeah, this also relevant to the local subsidiaries with the overseas headquarters. Normally, we see a lot of cases the overseas head office charge the management fee or charge the secondment salaries or compensations for the people working in China. So this also creates some, question marks from the tax perspective. So whether you charge the right thing to the right entity. So it cannot be decided by, head office individually. It need to be, arranged properly according to the, functions. Whether this function really happen in China, whether this should be charged back to head office, this need to be reasonable. It cannot be decide just knock the head and just do it. This is not okay because this is relevant to the corporate tax for these two countries. So we need to ensure all the revenues and the costs are recorded in the right entities. Yeah, I think this is the other point here. We will not repeat too much because it's too much details. I think this we can explain maybe in the one day for this each point. So we just want to make sure you can understand and you can have some takeaways to say in China, when you have the cross-border transactions and also the fund flow, you need to have the proper documentation. You also need to calculate all the tax right, and you also need to prepare all the evidence and supporting documents for a later check by the tax bureaus. So this is very important because this is what we see the companies always get the penalties or late fees because they don't know the exact tax policy and regulation. So when they're handling this kind of cross-border things, so that's why we would like you to write it down before you make all the transactions. Yeah, I think the test part I just finished like this, and we can talk more about the HR compliance framework. Tax is important part, but for the HR, it's relevant people, right? So when you need to operate your business in here, you need to find all the talent, no matter it's from China or from overseas. This is a very important part. But for compliance wise, we also see a lot of companies have create some issues because they don't know the relevant requirement. So we just also highlight 6 part here. I just want to go through quickly about each point so that you have some understanding how China works here. So
Sorry to
recruitment.
interrupt, Chris.
Yeah.
You have 10 minutes left.
Oh, all right. Okay. So for recruitment, you also need to do some background check. This verification is very important. So, but you also need to have the anti-discrimination and equal employment practice. You cannot say, I will not hire you with some unreasonable reason. So this is also a company culture. Yeah, and also in the normal way, you also need to consider offer. Yeah, if this talent is okay, you need to give the offer to them and prepare the employment contract. In China, we also have the employment labor law. Yeah, and this you also need to fulfill all the requirement. For example, we have the probation period. We also need to have the non-compete agreements. We also need to pay the overtime pay and also annual leaves. So this kind of thing also need to be considered in the employment contract and the handbook. So this is some two important part when you start hiring people. And for the compensation wise, you also need to consider the individual income tax to pay it correctly. You also need to consider the salary structures because sometimes you need to pay the base salary plus bonus. Yeah, because the individual income tax have different calculation method. For the social securities, I think this is similar with other, countries. It need to be paid by the employer and also by the employee part. We have different, percentage in different, cities and province. So when you start your business, you need to consider to pay the 100% and without any mistake. It also need to be checked annually by the local authorities. Yeah. And also for the expats employment, this is more complicated because you also need to apply for the working permit and also resident permit. This is also need to be compliantly handled. For the termination, when you lay off the staff, you need to have the 1 month notice, for example. You also need to have the correct service calculation and the compensation. If not, we see some companies have the lawsuit and arbitration because of the wrong termination. Yeah. For cross-border payroll compliance, I just want to highlight two things. The one thing is just for the 183 days. Yeah, if the individual resident in China for more than 183 days, and then they will subject to the global income taxation. So this very important for everyone need to consider when you start your work here in China. And for the benefit for the foreigners, for all the expats, they will have the tax-free benefits. Yeah, for example, if you have the housing, your children's education, and your language training allowance, this is tax-free. And also for expats legally import in China, they can also enjoy the free part about the social security if they have the treaties with China. This you can also check before you start your work in China. Yeah, this I will not go through because this is the master file critical deadlines to avoid compliance risk. It means when you come to China, you need to have your right type about your visa, and you need to have the resident permit application, and you also need to renew your permit before it's invalid. Yeah. So for us, I think I just want to make it short to say for Triad, we can provide one-stop solutions for you, yeah, to help you from 0 to 1 to set up your companies, to help you to your accounting and tax services, to ensure you can focus your core business in China. So yeah, from the different level about the journey for the market entry, for the setup and the licensing, and also for the daily accounting and tax management, also for the later for the operational stabilization and growth and localization, we can help you to accompany you from 0 to 1 to from 1 to 100. So this is about us. We can definitely help you for your Chinese market entry. Here, I think this slide is very important for you. If you have made the decision already, you will go ahead with the China business. We write down for the next steps for all the foreign investors. So it means you have the decision now, you need to have the roadmap and or we call it timetable for you to conduct the assessment and also to make the execution for your market entry here. So I hope you can also make a picture, or you can also make the list in detail for your entity to track about your compliance requirements and for your tax requirements, for your data requirements, also for your reporting requirements, also government. This is all very important, but for different company have a different, priority. You can choose which one is highly priority, which one is really important and urgent. You can make a list. And if you have any questions, you can also come to us. We can help you to evaluate for all the steps you need to have, all the requirements you need to have. So we can definitely help you with the all the steps and to help your success here. So the last point is actually entering China is not only an incorporation. I think it's more about building a sustainable operating platform here. So it's not only a short term, but a long term journey you need to work on. So this is the all the sharings here. I think it's a quite short time. So I hope we can also have the other opportunities. So we can also have the face-to-face talk and when you come to China. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Grace. We have a couple questions for you from the audience that
Sure.
we would like to ask. All right. So first would be um, Vladimir would like to ask for a Russian-owned company commercializing a patented food ingredient in China. How would you compare the WFOE, the wholly foreign-owned enterprise, a joint venture, and a licensing model in terms of minimizing friction when transferring royalties back to Russia?
Okay. So it means they are asking about the WOFE, the comparison about the WOFE and joint venture, right?
Yeah, and a licensing model as well when transferring royalties back to Russia to minimize the friction.
Yeah, I think for this one, um, for WOFE, WOFE is a lot of, we need to compare for structure wise. For WOFE, you are 100%, owned. Yeah, you can own everything by patent, by money, by people, everything. But joint venture is kind of thing you need to have the Chinese partner here. Yeah, you need to have the different, shareholding structures. So it means it depends on the percentage you have different decision power, right? So this is quite different. But if you only doing the licensing, for example, you only charge the licensing fee, it means you don't have you only have the purely income from China, but you are not officially legally registered here. So you are not no legal entity here. And then from the, how to say, trust wise for your company, your client may have some, different questions about this. They would like to have the company who is really operate here. Um,
Okay. Oh, hello? Grace, I think you might be frozen.
this no matter you are the WOFE or joint venture, you can also successfully repatriate the, your service fee or royalty back to your Russian company. This is not so relevant in different structure. If the commercial wise, you really have the true transactions, yeah, the relevant royalty definitely can pay it back. Like I mentioned in the PPT, and this need to be the real transaction with the reasonable price, and definitely it can be go out. There's no big difference by which legal structure you have. Yeah, I hope this answered the question.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it did. So now moving on to the second question. Cesar wanted to know, in your experience, after a foreign company has secured a local joint venture and has initial licenses, what is the most common operational bottleneck that slows down project launches and the time to market?
Can you repeat again?
Yes. So they would like to know, after they're a foreign company, um, or any company has secured a joint venture, a local joint venture, and has already the licenses, what is the most common operational bottleneck that slows down the project launch and the time it takes to go to the market?
Okay, I see. After you have the license, I think find your client, right? So you whether you have your client already and you have your commercial, how to say, all the commercial team are here. I think the very important thing you need to find the right people. This is somehow always have some troublesome by the companies we know, because for example, they say, okay, we have already everything. We have our business license, we have our special license already, but they cannot find the right person to deliver the service. Somehow this is also imposing thing. That's why we also recommend a lot of, many companies to consider to their hiring about the right person. I think this is one of the crucial thing. The second one is just for the banking opening also sometimes take a long time. When you want to receive the money, you also need to have the proper bank settled, and then you can receive the money. Sometimes it also can create some troubles if you don't have the bank account or your capital account did not open properly. You cannot get the registered capital in, and then you cannot have the real operation yet. So I think for people wise and also for your money wise, you need to receive your money. You have the bank account, and also you need to have your client. If you have client, you also need to have all the contract, commercial terms. Also, everything need to be fixed for that. I think this three is a very important thing. And definitely, you also need to have your structure for the accounting system. It's also very important. Otherwise, you cannot finish your, monthly report or tax filings. This is also very critical.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. This sounds.
Yeah, I think because of time restraints, I think we'll only stop at two questions this time again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Grace, for the clear and practical overview. Your insights on all the cross-border payroll, talent mobility, compliance, and considerations are very extremely useful for startups planning to expand to China. So hopefully everybody took away something for it for the next time they are looking to expand or set up a company in China.
Yeah, sure. Welcome to let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you once again. And so before our last segment begins, I would just like to remind everyone, if you would like to join the WeChat after and connect with us or the speakers during this event, please scan the QR code on this screen. And also, if you do not have WeChat, you are feel free to take a screenshot of the screen, and then after you can download it and then join the chat through the QR code. The QR code is on the bottom right. Um, just scan that with your phone, or as I said, take a screenshot with your computer, and then you can scan it later. Alrighty, so now moving on. We will go take a closer look at the support available for BRICS tech startups, specifically in Xiamen. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Mohsin Ali, the Deputy Director of China BRICS Innovation Base. He will introduce Xiamen's support policies for BRICS tech startups, including startup funding support of up to 10 million RMB. Welcome, Mohsin. Please turn on your mic, Mohsin. Hello, Mohsin. Please turn on your mic. I do not think we can hear you right now.
Okay, so thank you so much, Anthony. So
Yes.
I have my last session today, so maybe I expect that the participants still have energy for these sessions too, because this session is very important. If anyone from the BRICS country, whether it is a company, a startup, a spin-off from university, science and technology park, and they are interested to have their business in Xiamen specifically, and more specifically in China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park. So I will share very practical perspective, informations, and that will be required for establishing business in Xiamen. I will share some policies information, some subsidies, and some tax-related exemptions that Xiamen government and China BRICS Science and Innovation Park support in this regard. So I'm working currently as a Deputy Director, Intellectual Property and International Collaboration at China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park, which shortly named as China BRICS SIIP. So during this 55 minutes presentations, I will cover the practical aspects from the innovation protection, for the innovation ecosystems that we have at China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park for the innovator, creators, and entrepreneurs in 21 countries of the BRICS region. So I will cover from legal, sport, intellectual property related protection, sport, funding sport, policy sport, and financial sport skill and training sport that we provide through a different range of programs, projects, and initiatives at our China Innovation Incubation Park. So whether you are a student or an entrepreneur and you have an innovative idea, so this platform will be very helpful for you and give you a step-by-step support in every step from A to Z to establish your business in Xiamen ecosystem. So before I go to the practical aspects, I just want to share with you the BRICS market potential, the innovation potentials, and the international trade potentials that we have and that we can use effectively if we have the relevant information, the relevant policy support from outside. So as of June 2025, there is 21 countries part of BRICS platform. Initially in 2009, this platform was established by 4 BRICS founding member states, which include Brazil, Russia, India, and China. And then in 2010, South Africa also joined this platform. Then it became from BRIC to BRICS. And recently in 2024, some more countries like UAE, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Ethiopia, and Indonesia also joined this platform. And this the name rename it was from BRICS to BRICS Plus. BRICS Plus is informally used to show the platform who have for the member states who recently joined this platform. So the last member state in 2025, at the end of 2025, Indonesia joined as a full member state. And then we have 10 partner member states, which include Uzbekistan, Vietnam, Belarus, Malaysia, Thailand, and Nigeria, etc. And more than 30 countries across the world, they have shown their interest to join this international bloc. So you can imagine how huge this platform is, which has like so. As per the BRICS summit, according to the BRICS Secretariat, every year the BRICS meet is organized in one of the BRICS member states. Last year in 2025, because Brazil had the presidency of BRICS platform, so that's why The last 17th BRICS Summit was organized in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and this year India is the president for the BRICS platform. So this year the BRICS Summit will held in India, in New Delhi. So as I mentioned before, I want to share with you the importance of the BRICS platform. This is a huge market which has around 50% of global populations, 30% of global GDP, and 26% of global trade. So this is very important for the businesses, for the startups, for the companies who want to expand their business across the borders in the BRICS region and get advantage from this huge market. So our objective is to help to support in every aspect to get advantage, get benefit from this huge market for the startups, for the company and SMEs across the BRICS countries. So as we are innovation park, we have more focus on technology transfer, innovations, and technology commercialization. So I want to share with you some information about the regional innovation leader in the BRICS member states. So this is the latest data according to the WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization's Global Innovation Index 2025. According to this, like around 139 economies, 139 countries, they rank their in a list according to the innovation potentials they have. So here I show you the regional innovation leader, which are also part of the BRICS platform. So as per this Global Innovation Index 2025, if you see in the Latin America, the Brazil is the second innovation leader in the Latin America, in the South America, which is also one of the founding member state of BRICS platform. And then if you go to South Saharan African, so there is South Africa, the top innovation leader in that region, which is also founding member state of BRICS. And then in Northern Africa and Western Asia, you see United Arab Emirates. It's one of the full member states and also second innovation leader in this region. And then in Central Asia, there is India and Iran, full member state of BRICS platform. They are the innovation leader in that region. And then in Southeast Asia, and there is China, the founding member state of BRICS platform, the innovation leader in that region. So you can see this innovation BRICS platform has a huge innovation potential because almost every region there is innovation leader, which is also part of the BRICS platform. So, so because considering this innovation potential, considering the huge market potentials, and considering the international trade potentials, the China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park was established in 2023 under the leadership of Ministry of Science and Technology of China and Xiamen Science and Technology Bureau and Fujian Science and Technology Bureau. So this was the brief introduction about the BRICS and about what we are doing here. And so as I mentioned before, I will mostly focus on the practical information and the policy support and the financial support that we provide to startups, to SMEs, to companies to expand their business across the border, specifically in Xiamen. So here I mentioned some benefits which include tax-related benefit, subsidy, and other supports for establishing business in Xiamen, specifically in Science and Technology Park, and high-tech development zone. If you see in my slide, Xiamen has special economic zone since 1980, which means it offers preferential tax policies, simplified trade regulations, and direct access to China, our domestic market, one of the huge market in the world. It geographically positions as the bridge between mainland of China and Southeast Asia country, making it an ideal regional headquarters for BRICS companies expanding in Asia and Southeast Asia and South Asia. This is city host national level high-tech development zone a thriving university ecosystem led by Xiamen University and the port and direct connections to 99 destinations across the world. And what makes this opportunity more useful that our headquarters, the China BRICS Science and Innovation Park headquarters, is also based in Xiamen. This is one of the reasons we are located in Xiamen. So China BRICS SIP, we focused. We are the official representative of Chinese government, which is Ministry of Science and Technology China in the BRICS platform. Our mission is to support businesses, to support innovation, to support technology from across the border, to help companies, businesses, startups to expand their business from 21 BRICS country to China, and for Chinese company to expand their business across the border in other BRICS countries. And how we help them, I will share with you very practical information in my next couple of slides. So Xiamen, one of the another reason for being why you can have your business, your company in Xiamen, because Xiamen is the hub for all almost all BRICS related regional and international organizations. And also many other international and Chinese government organizations related to BRICS platform. They have their headquarters in Xiamen. And Xiamen, as I mentioned before, have a special economic zone, free trade zone, innovations, a demonstration park. We have many innovation demonstration park in Xiamen in different districts, which are located in different districts according to a specific technology and strategical location. And then we have comprehensive pilot reform zone, a strategic fulcrum city of the maritime Silk Road. And then we also have a huge BRICS organization, which regard BRICS partnership for on new industrial regulations, which is also in headquarter in Xiamen. So all these reasons mentioned. The reason is I mentioned all these facilities, all these infrastructures, all these entities present in Xiamen. So this is one of the reasons you can have your business in Xiamen. So these are I will focus on these three type of support that we are providing to companies, SMEs, startups, spin-off across all BRICS country in the BRICS region. So I will one by one I will explain in more detail how we are helping and which are programs we have initiative and project we are working on. So let's start first the funding, financial support. The China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park offer three types of funding support. All of them are non-dilutive, meaning we don't take any equity in your company in exchange for a grant. Let me walk you through each of the category, the funding category we provide. Tier 1, this is specifically for design for the startups for a spin-off, range from around 1 million RMB. This design for early stage startups and student spin-off who need speed, capital and development, and develop a minimum viable product. Test a prototype or begin initial market research in China. So this is the start. This is the initial help to start a business for a very small company like startups and spin-off in Xiamen. Then we have tier 2, which is up to 3 million RMB funding. This is specifically designed for a growth stage companies, SMEs. For this, you have to approve. You have to show the revenue stream. You have to show the users and minimum validated market demand, the fund support, operational expansion, including hiring staff in China and Xiamen, and marketing and product localizations, Chinese market support. So all these things is a requirement for this second type of funding, the tier 2 funding. This is the growth funding, and then we have Last one, tier 3, which is strategic investment type of sport, which is government to government level, big project. For example, establishing a international technology transfer center, high tech, high impact venture, R&D and technology transfer center, etc., for the joint project establishment. I have one example that we are doing with University of Dubai in the UAE. So this type of project we are doing with University of Dubai. We are establishing international technology transfer center in Xiamen. The objective of establishing this technology transfer center is to help Chinese technology transfer to relevant and potential clients in UAE, and to help UAE company to transfer their technology to China. So this is the one of the reason, and this one I give you one example of this type of funding we provide for a high level and government to government level high impact venture, R&D and technology transfer center. Then funding and financial support. There is some initial, there is some additional incentives that is provided by the Xiamen government and also the district government in Xiamen, and also we provide some kind of subsidies and support at the China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park level as well. So most of the tax-related information, the former speaker, Ms. Kiris, she has already mentioned the more detail, but I just mentioned the Xiamen perspective. So China BRICS Science and Innovation we gave on tax related BRICS companies in high tech zone, because Xiamen has three high tech zone benefit from the for the corporate tax rate just 15%. So the standard tax is 25%, but if you have the preferential corporate tax rate, then it's reduced to 10%, become 15%. This is one of the advantage to establish business in Xiamen, and this is, I think, all over the China as well, validated. And then there is also R&D expenditure, 200% super deduction, which means if you are a research and development or company entity, your research and development expenditure qualify for 200% super deductions, meaning you get a tax break worth double what you spend on your R&D. So there is zero import duty on high-tech equipment for the first 2 years, and VAT exemptions in 1 year, and then it's 50% in the second year. So these are some tax-related exemptions and supports for the companies who want to expand their business from BRICS country to Xiamen. Then there is also the Xiamen human resource department. They also provide talent and HR related support, which include talent green card, housing subsidy for international talent, and access to Xiamen talent pool and job fair, and fast track work permit for key personnel. And here I would like to mention that there is also specific China BRICS in the China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park. There is also Chinese Immigration Office, which is part of the China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park. The objective of this immigration office is to help and to provide a fast track for immigration related services regarding residence permit, work permit, and company registration, etc. And then for the operational performance reward, we have at China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park policy level, we have around 5 million RMB funding support for the companies, for the startups who have got their offices in China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park, or entity which are working under China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park, for example, demonstration park and specialized innovation park in Xiamen. And then we have office subsidy for 1 million in the first a year. If you want to have your office, your existence in China BRICS Science and Innovation Park, we have policy to fund you, to financially support you around 1 million in the first year. And then we have operational support up to 2 million over the following 2 years after this 1 year million subsidy. Then we also on regular basis organize international technology matchmaking events, the technology roadshow at international level and different BRICS summit. And for this, we also provide support for travel, like 10,000 RMB per person for the company's staff who are located in our park. Then this year, we also launched new innovation fund, which is called BRICS Science and Innovation Fund, Incubation Fund. For this, initially, we have allocated around 50 million RMB funding in this regard to support businesses, companies across BRICS country to have their business across the border in Xiamen, in China. And then market access, you receive free access to China market research database, preference consideration for government procurement contract, and introductions to over 400 partners in the BRICS platform and Xiamen technology ecosystems. And we are, as I mentioned before, we on a regular basis each year, whenever there is any BRICS meet happen organized in the one of the BRICS member state, we also organize China BRICS Tech Expo participations, which provide an opportunity to companies to showcase their technologies for the technology matchmaking and technology transfer and commercialization purpose. And then this is administrative support that we provide to companies. The 6 type of administrative support that we provide to companies to have their business, to have their office in Xiamen. You know, whenever you start any company from the BRICS country, you know, most of the BRICS countries, they are developing states, and the startups and the companies in the developing countries, usually they don't have so much skill level or financial support level and like information level that they can expand their business across the border. So we cover this gap by providing all these 6 type of services, which is administrative support that we provide A to Z support from company registration to business development. Company registration mean we help the startups and businesses to have their company registration in Xiamen. We have specialized staff in working in China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park, which help from A to Z all the procedures for the company registrations. We have bilingual staff, like they speak Chinese and English, and they help translations and etc. Whatever required for the company registration. And then we provide fast track registration support as well. And as I am I'm heading the IP center, Intellectual Property Center in China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park. We also help and provide assistance in searching the novelty of the business name, whether the business name already exists in the Chinese market or not. So we provide support from A to Z for the company registration. And then after registering company office space and infrastructures that we have in our China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park, we provide flexible co-working and dedicated offices, lab space and manufacturing workshops, high-speed like internet and infrastructures, which are available for 24 hours, all the 7 days. And then, as I mentioned before, we have specific allocated Chinese immigration office as a part of China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park, which provide a fast track immigration related services, which include business and work visa facilitations, resident permit, and family visa service, and dedicated liaison officer who work with companies individually for their immigration-related services, for immigration-related issues. And to the opening a bank is also one of the important steps to have to open a to start a business in any country, specifically in Xiamen. So we have collaborations. We have in coordinations with top bank in Xiamen, like Bank of China, ICBC, etc. So we help them from A to Z, the company to open their business account in these banks. So we help from A to Z all the steps to opening bank account as well. And as I mentioned before, we have bilingual staff available here in China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park. They are specialized in their inside the services, whether it is the company registration, whether it is a bank account opening, whether it is immigrations. They provide translations, a document. They provide assistance translation document to apply for these like company restrictions and immigration support, etc. And then business development, cross-border business strategies is also one of the most important steps that is very useful for opening from expanding business from across the border from one country to other country. We provide guidance, we provide support in developing an effective business strategy, focusing the Xiamen ecosystem, Xiamen innovation ecosystem, Xiamen financials and government level policies. We cover all these things in the business strategy. We provide them support in market entry strategy. We provide them government relations support because we are directly working under Xiamen Science and Technology Bureau. So we have direct relations, we have direct connections with the government entity. So we provide them relevant support and assistance and access to the mentor and investor because we have a huge pool of mentor and investors. We have collaborations with more than 65 partners across 13 BRICS countries. So we provide them relevant information, authentic information and assistance, not only in China, in Xiamen, but also in relevant BRICS country, whether it is Russia, India, South Africa, Brazil, whatever the country, because we have partners which include universities, science and technology park, law firms in those countries. So this is one of the most important questions many times whenever I have meeting with startups, with companies, whenever I visit these companies started in BRICS country, the first question usually they ask me about the intellectual property protection. So this is the most really important concern for the companies who want to expand their business in China and specifically in Xiamen. So we have a very comprehensive intellectual property protection center as a part of China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park. I am heading this intellectual property center. So in this center, we have experts who are specialized in intellectual property policy making, intellectual property strategy making, and intellectual property protection, not only in China, but across the world. So how we help them? We don't directly help them to file the patent applications or to file the trademark application, to file the copyright or trade secret application, but we, by using our experience, and we provide them a right track, a right way, how they can, which way and which strategy they can use to protect their intellectual property when they start their business across the border, either in China and any other BRICS member state. For example, any company from Brazil, if they want to expand their business in China, so there is several ways to protect their intellectual property. The first way is to use the Chinese National Intellectual Property System, which is called CNIPA, China National Intellectual Property Administration. But this is if the intellectual property rights protections are territorial in nature. Territorial mean if you file your patent applications, your trademark applications, any other type of intellectual property applications in specific country, for example, in China, through the China National Intellectual Property Administration, this will be protected only in Chinese territory. So it's depend upon the type of technologies, the type of IP that you want to protect. So if the inventions, the technologies, they have the potentials in other BRICS country, not only other BRICS country, but also other emerging markets like Japan, South Africa, India, and even in Europe and America. So we provide them a guidance, support. So which paths they should follow to protect their intellectual property. For example, if the intellectual property, the invention, the technology, they have potential in more than one country, which is even if not part of the BRICS platform. So we suggest them to use the International Intellectual Property Protection System, which is called TCT, Patent Cooperation Treaty, which is governed by the World Intellectual Property Organization, which has their headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. So there is a different way. If you use the International Patent Protection System, which is called PCT, PCT is the treaty which is signed by 158 countries, which are the part of the WIPO member states. So by using the international patent system, the companies who want to expand their business across the border, they can use this system to protect their intellectual property by filing a single application in single language, in single fees, and they can protect their intellectual property, their patent in 158 countries, in which country they consider they have the market potential. Because we have the experts who do a patent analysis, the patent analytics, by using the international patent databases. So by using this system, we advise them in which country they can protect their intellectual property other than China and other than BRICS countries by using the international patent system or by using the national IP system. So this was the patent, and if the trademark is the name of the business, the logo of your business. This is also one of the most important IP that the company need guidance, need advice, the right way, how they can file, how they can protect the name of their business, the name of their brand, and their product brand. So like patent system, they have the national and international system. Similarly, trademark protection system, they also have different kind of protection system, which is national level and international level. Similarly, if the business
Sorry to interrupt. Mr. Mohsin, you have 10 minutes left.
10 minutes left?
Correct.
Sorry?
Yes, you have around 10 minutes left.
Oh, 10 minutes left. Okay. Thank you. So I try to quickly go through this. So then there is also trademark system. I have mentioned it. So then IP, whenever there is IP dispute, we also help them to resolve the IP dispute rather than going into the dedicated tribunal for the technology IP cases in Xiamen. And then we provide them like authentic support and advice and other legal and regulatory compliance, which include business structure compliance, employment law, data piracy, export contract, and dispute resolution, etc. And who can get benefit from these all subsidies, all these financial support, all these skill building program that we provide? They can. So I have mentioned these three type of the entities and the individual who can get benefit from this. this program, this initiative that is launched by the China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park. For companies who are registered in BRICS, BRICS Plus continuation, they can get benefit from these opportunities. And the founder must have at least a master degree and must involve like in the country tech related track and have they have like innovative technology who have participated in international competition like Susong Cup. And they have also their physical location in Xiamen, in our one of the innovation park or a demonstration park, a specialized IP park. Then there is individual, they can also get benefit from these opportunities if they have their technology transfer. They are working on some kind of new technology with potential for technology commercialization from one country to other country, as they have spin off their startups from the University and Science and Technology Park. And then we have specific tech areas. This is our more focus area, but we can also consider other technology area. Not only these areas, but we have more focus on these technology areas. If you are working on these tech areas, for example, AI, new material, clean energy, biotechnology, digital economy. So we prefer to provide you these opportunity. But if when you're working on other technology other than this, we can also help you to get benefit from this initiative and these programs. So what is the procedure? So I've just briefly introduced you how you can get benefit. What procedure you can follow to get to go through all these benefits, the initiatives that we have at China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park. The first step is initialize your application. For this, you need to share with us your business plan, a very comprehensive business plan, the CV of your team, and the technology product overview. And then we will receive, after receiving this application, the expert panel at China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park, they will go through, they will review it, and then they will have an online idea pitching. And then we will have online meeting with you. And after, if you are successful, like you are able to get receive incubation offer letter from China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park, we will provide a specific kind of funding according to the technology, according to the potential of technology you are working on. And then the second last step, after having these, after selections, you need immigration support. We also provide you immigration support from A to Z. And then we also provide you active support after launching your business. We can also keep in touch with you even after establishing a business in our park, in our one of the innovation park. We keep in touch with you to resolve any kind of your issue, whether it is financials, whether it is legal, whether it is IP professional. So we provide support from A to Z, which is required from establishing business from one country to another country. We have more focus on the BRICS countries in 21 countries. So this is another way to getting. I want to share with you that you can consider to get funding. This is an indirect way to get funding from China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park, which is the international technology and innovations competition that we organize every year. This year, we will the applications have been already launched. I will share you the result for the last year, the third Susong Cup competition. In last year, in 2025, in October, the finals was organized in our headquarters in Xiamen. There was 186 project who participated in this Susong Cup competition, the international future industry innovation competition. And there was 59 cities from 12 countries. They were participating in this competition. And 25 projects reached the final level, and 8 projects won. 8 projects won mean there was one project from Brazil. They were the winner at first stage, and they get 1 million RMB funding. And there was 2 second winner, at second stage, and there was 5 project winner at third stage. And the total, all of 8 projects, they get 3.86 million RMB funding, direct support, direct financial support to startup and company to establish their business in Xiamen. This is an indirect way to get the direct funding from China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park. So I would like to mention that the 4th Susong Cup competition applications have already launched. The deadline to apply for this competition is 20th May, next month, 20th May. So then in June, there will be the first round of preliminary round for that will be online, and then there will be a semi-final in July, and then there will be final in October in Xiamen at our headquarters. So I have shared the link here, the website link, where you can get all the relevant information to apply for this international competition and to get funding, direct funding from China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park and support to establish your business in our park. So this competition also has eligibility criteria. I'm not going into more detail because shortage of time. But if you go to the website, you will find out all this detail. So what is the criteria and what is the eligibility criteria to participate in this international innovation competition? There's 2 kinds of participant, like enterprise track and the outcome track. So you can get all this information on the website that I shared in my slide. So at the last, I want to share with you a success story. This is one of our top incubating company, which has their office in our China BRICS Science and Innovation Park. This is advanced public transportation management system. They have successfully transferred this technology. This is a Chinese company, and we help them to transfer their technology, smart public transportation system in our 8 to 10 country in the BRICS region, in Saudi Arabia, in UAE, in Ethiopia, and in many other countries. We help them to successfully transfer this technology to more than 10 countries in the BRICS region. So this is one of the top incubating and one of the top success story that we have in our China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park. They have their office in our subsidiary, in our premises. This is more detail on this project, but I'm not going to in more detail. So finally, as I mentioned before, the China BRICS Science and Innovation Incubation Park is a new organization that was launched 2023, not too long. So we are very much excited to build collaborations with more and more companies, universities, R&D organizations, and law firms to become our partners so that we can help more and more innovators, creators, and entrepreneurs across the BRICS country to expand their business across border and to expand their business specifically in Xiamen, in our park, and to get benefit from all these initiatives, programs, and subsidies that we offer to companies, startups, and SMEs to expand their business in Xiamen. So thank you so much. This was very briefly introduce the programs and the initiative we are working on to help to support companies, individuals, innovators, creators to expand their business across the border, specifically in Xiamen, China. Thank you so much. So if you have any questions, so I will be happy to address.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Mosim, for the presentation. So we do have a few questions here. For the first one, one of the participants wanted to ask for process-based technologies where trade secrets and know-hows are as important as patents. What are the practical steps for an SME should take before sharing technical details with potential Chinese partners?
Okay. For the trade secret, actually, there is 2 ways to protect your patent or your trade secret. Trade secret is also one type of intellectual property similar to patent. Patent provide intellectual property protections for a limited time duration or maximum 20 years. In China, in most of the other countries, this is international. This is universal rule that in most of the countries in the world, and even the national IP system and the national IP system, they provide invention protection through patent 20 years. But by using the trade secret, this is the way you can protect your IP, your inventions, until it is not disclosed to anyone. For example, Coca-Cola, they have trade secret which is protected more than 100 years. So if they use the patent strategy, after 20 years, their IP right will be expired and it's become the public property. But they use the trade secret strategy to protect the intellectual property for a longer period of time until it is not disclosed. So what strategy we usually add a guide to companies. The most of the important thing before disclosing anything, any information about your technology, even to us, even to any other Chinese company, you need to, we advise to company to sign a very comprehensive NDA, non-disclosure agreement. This is the universal rule that most of the company, like Coca-Cola, they sign the non-disclosure agreement with anyone before they share the technical information about their invention. So we advise them to sign the non-disclosure agreement with us, with any Chinese company, and with the employees you hire in China or any other country, and even in your country. So this is the strategy that we usually guide to companies to protect their trade secret in this way. I hope I addressed the question.
Yeah, thank you. And so our next question is from Rena, specifically regarding the requirement for founders to hold a master's degree. She wants to know if having a pending patent or being a published researcher in AI ethics or other industries provide a waiver or equivalent standing for admission into the Xiamen high-tech zone.
Sorry, I did not understand. Can you please repeat your question?
Yes, so she's regarding the requirement for founders to hold a master degree to enter the Xiamen high-tech zone. She wants to know if having pending patents or being a published researcher in AI ethics or other industries provides a waiver or an equivalent standing to enter.
Actually, as per the current policy, policy is, because as I mentioned before, we are directly working under Xiamen Science and Technology Bureau, and the policies are developed at the government level. As per the current policy, it is mandatory requirement that if you launch, you get advantage from this funding that we have, and also launch your business, so you need to have an affiliate master degree. This is the mandatory requirement. So as per the current policies, but might be in future to be changed.
All right, thank you. And then last question today. So Joseph wanted to know, for early stage startups, are there any barriers to access the tier one funding without already having a local entity or a presence in China?
For startups, we provide funding to expand your product service, your existence in Xiamen. So to get advantage from this funding, different type of funding, you need to have your company, your entity in Xiamen within our park. That is one of the mandatory requirement.
Okay, and then also just to follow up from that, I think some other people want to know that if in the opposite, if you're already in China or in Xiamen, is there any advantages for that, or are you eligible to apply still for the non-equity
Yes,
funding?
yes, they of course they will get edge because one of the requirement is they have the office in Xiamen, and if they already have their office in Xiamen, they fulfill the requirement, one of the mandatory requirements. So of course they will get edge for getting different kind of funding from this platform.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Hossein, for today's overview on Xiamen support policies. I think, and then with that, we have actually concluded this session. And now we have explored capital strategy, practical compliance, and concrete policies, opportunities in Xiamen. And so we really hope today's session has provided useful guidance for your future development in China to all the participants here. And once again, thank you to Zhao Chen, Grace Sher, and Mohsin Ali for taking their time to share these valuable insights on their respective topics with us. And a special thank you to all the participants for joining us today. If you have any future questions or cooperation and business matchmaking interests, please feel free to contact us through our official channels and through also the WeChat group. And then that concludes today's event. We wish you success in your ventures to China and look forward to seeing you again.
I
Thank you,
just want to
everybody.
add one thing. As I shared in my last slide, the Susong Cup competition. I just want to share with the audience that the deadline is approaching next month, 20th May. So this is one of the most important and direct way to get funding from China BRICS SSB. So please apply for this international competition so that you can get direct funding and direct support to launch your business in Xiamen.
Thank you, Mohsin. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much.